There was this book that I read when I was younger, which I was obsessed with, and it was about this kid who ran away from home, and then he's like, but if I run away from home, I'm going to need my pillow. And so he takes his pillow, and then he's like, well, if I take my pillow, then I'm going to need my blanket. So he takes his blanket. Then, of course, he realizes he's got to take his bed. But if he takes his bed, he's got to take a sheet. But if he takes his sheets, he's got to take the washing machine. If he takes the washing machine, he's got to take the mother, who in turn wants to bring the father, and in turn brings the rest of the house. So the boy runs away from home, and he takes the entire home with him. That's my life. I've taken my entire life with me around the world. I'm the boy who ran away from home and took everything with him. The truth is, I'm terrified of clothes. I have a phobia of clothes and also of suitcases, because I live out of suitcases. But for these shows, they were all made by Valentino, and they're kind of these one-off things that are made in the studio in Rome. Every time I wear an outfit, especially for TV, I wear it once and then I never wear it again. But if I wear a suit in a show, I can probably wear it twice, and then the thing's rotten anyway, because they're made so tight. The good thing is they look good, but the one rule is that the silhouette of every jacket is extremely traditional and really dandy. And then what you have on it is fun. Because if you have that sense of humor, you're never a snob. You can be wearing couture, you can be wearing something from TJ Maxx, but it has to have that same sense of humor. The French call it being an enfant terrible, a terrible child. I think it's just having fun, yeah. It's just being normal. I recognize the driver. You've driven me before. You know that? I recognize your face. No comment. It's kind of hard because on the one side of it, you want to be just a musician who's going to just sing and do nothing else but just do your job that night and do the show you can, but the reality is not that. The reality is you have to do radio interviews, you have to do TV interviews, you have to do press, you have to do meet and greets. You can kind of like get down about it, but the truth is, it's kind of, you just make it more fun. You find little ways to make it a little bit less formal.
All right, well, I'm very excited for your new album. It's almost here. Tell me a little bit about how you would describe it.
I would describe this record as on the one hand, it's a really singer-songwriter record because it's quite acoustic, and on the other side, it's extremely melodic. It's very pop. It has that signature thing that I do, which is joyful music and really kind of ear-catching melodies with seriously almost dark, almost disturbing lyrics, and the mixture of the two is a really deadly cocktail because you're singing along and you're kind of being carried by the song way before you realize what I'm talking about, but by then it's too late.
Miriam,
We're doing a show tonight.
at the Belasco.
Yeah. Let us know, we'll give you some tickets.
You just message me.
My dad is Lebanese.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
what's going on?
I know somebody who eats Lebanese food.
No, that doesn't
So we always find each other.
So you're half Lebanese?
Yeah.
Lebanese are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacular. I'm half Lebanese, half American. I was born in Beirut, I grew up in Paris, but then most of my life I've been raised and educated in London, where I also went to music conservatory and got signed there. I'm part of a generation that is increasingly of the same opinion that it's not necessarily the place that we come from that gives us our identity, but the things that we make or the people that we make them with. I'm going back to France in a couple of days and I'll be shooting with Peter Lindbergh for the second time for a charity called Children Without Cancer and Imagine for Margot, and it's about raising awareness and also money for kids' cancer research. It's a long way to go and they need all the help they can get. So if I can help just a tiny bit, why not? Look at this place. This is the most magical part of Los Angeles. Beyond all the depressing, enormous mansions. I mean, look at that. Look at the Rialto. Look at that. Which is now an Urban Outfitters, but we'll forget that. We'll just ignore the fact that it's an Urban Outfitters. And now we're on our way to the Belasco Theatre. Tonight we've got a gig there. The LA crowd can be fantastic, and sometimes they can be a little cool. Actually, every single time they're pretty great. They always get into it eventually. It just takes them a tiny bit longer than other places. They see so much. They see everything, you see. Just have to work a little harder. Now you're going to meet my tour manager, Mark.
I just had a driver tell me he's dropping you over the back door.
The most important thing is you get into a venue, you start sound checking with the band. You look at the set, you figure out how the set looks and if you can kind of adjust it and tweak it. Because the crew are doing all the work, but you just need to kind of tweak things here and there so that you make sure it's perfect.
What did you do?
It sounds good. Mainly, it needs more dynamics in the way that you're all playing it. Especially you, Ed. You're really consistent and it's great, but you actually need to be more, to step up in certain places so that we have a little bit more dynamics, very simply. It sounds good though. You're singing really well, actually, both of you. Awesome. With these kinds of shows, the shows that we make that are so personal and so homemade, the illusion of this kind of homemade set sometimes can look like $1 million if everything is right. All the lighting is tricked out just to look like those little pieces of paper take on a life of their own. They have no idea that everything is so simple. But you have to be obsessed about the detail. You can't just go halfway because then the entire thing falls apart. It's either great or it's awful. There's nothing in between. There's no safety net when you work the way that I work. Look at that. This is a real green room. Not only because it's green, but it's pretty amazing. I work with my family. My mother works on the road. My sister works on the road sometimes, but she also does all the illustrations with me for all my album covers and for animations and stuff. My other sister works in production. The other two, they ran away from me. I ran away to the circus and took my family with me. The other two kids in the family, my other two brothers and sisters, they literally ran away from me. And I don't blame them. I have a problem. My voice is tired. But the thing is, I can't say that to anyone. So I have to stand on stage as if nothing's wrong, even though I'm terrified that I'm going to lose my voice. And there's nothing else to say. It is what it is. Be great. We're all so tired.
Yeah, I know. It's hit everyone today. Big time.
I never drink before a show, and if I did, I'm afraid that I would be like, I'm all white. Champagne. Champagne for Lulu.
Champagne will buy.
It's a brilliant idea.
For me, when I perform and I get a good reaction that's sincere and that is varied and that evolves over the course of a concert, there's nothing more gratifying. This is my job. It's been my job since I was 11 years old. It doesn't matter if the venue is 200 people or 2,000 people or 20,000 people. It's just, you know, it feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. And whenever I step on stage, especially when it's been a while, it's been about a year and a bit since I've been touring, I get the same feeling all over again that I got when I was 11. And that's why I do this job. The thing about my shows is that they're not conceived and then just done. There's a little idea that we start to develop and then it grows and grows and grows. In 4 months' time will be a completely different show. In 2 weeks in Asia, we already have new backdrops being printed to add to the layers of the show. And in 4 months' time, there'll be buildings flying everywhere with, like, you know, lights in them and stuff. So things develop. My voice, once I actually got on there, was all right. I was freaking out before because I couldn't find it. I was looking for it everywhere. 2 swigs of champagne. I think it was in my Dixie cup. That's where my voice was hiding. And also, in finding my voice, I also found my new favorite hat, which I stole from a fan. It's kind of amazing. I want as much. We're done. That's a long time. I think the one thread through all my work and everything that I've done is not necessarily, you know, how I put stuff together, how we rehearse, how we build things. At the end of the day, it's the people on the other side, it's the fans. They're from all over the world, they're from all over the States, they're from all different walks of life. But the one thing in common is that they're willing to kind of lose themselves in this world, and it does them the same amount of good as it does me. It's thanks to them that I'm able to do what I do. With all the work that we put in, and someone just stands in front of you and lets their defenses down at the same time as you on stage, that's what makes it all make sense. That's what makes it worth it. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Mika. This is yours. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night.